Hey everybody, Mark over here at Twanger's Turntable. I hope you're all doing well. Back for another video. I haven't done a lot of these lately, but I'm trying to get back into that routine. As I've said, I've had a lot of absences in this past year or so, but those who know my channel know all that already. I won't bore you with that. If you are new to my channel, thanks for stopping in. I hope you'll find something you'll dig. Kind of what you see is what you get. There's not a whole lot going on here. Once in a while I'll try and do uh, some editing with certain videos and whatnot, but mostly it's a seat of my pants, showing you what I got. And so that's what I'm doing today. Been checking out some videos, getting caught up, and some of the channels that I frequent and the great content they provide. And there was one such channel I actually had not known about, and that just speaks to how vast the YouTube community, vinyl community is. That I had not been aware of this guy's channel, and it's a great channel. So I'll leave links below. But I first saw this thread with I think it was Brett over at Headbangers Closet was the first time I saw it, and then subsequently I went over and I watched Marty's response to this thread. And I'll leave links to these channels. George, another one I watched, and a couple of more that escape me right now. But essentially, the guy's name is Thomas, and his channel, I'll show you here off my iPad. I've got it pulled up. Merciful Metal. And he started a thread, which is what I was watching from these other gentlemen's channel, knowing your collection. So I thought this is a great way to pull out some vinyl in one's collection that perhaps have gone neglected too long. You know how it is, and that was Thomas's point. Once your collection starts to grow, there's things that inevitably get ignored, because I don't know about you, but I personally don't have the time to listen to everything I have as frequently as I would like to. A lot of it is really good stuff. That's why I have it. But there are those exceptions where maybe I hear it and it doesn't move the meter that much for me, so it collects dust. I don't tend to sell or get rid of vinyl that I buy, so once I have it, it's here, at least for now. But that's for another video. So Thomas started this challenge, and so I encourage you to go over to his channel, because it was a channel I wasn't even aware of. Great channel. He's definitely into metal, into the hard rock, and well, I'm not going to speak for him. Go check him out yourself. So I'm going to jump on this. So the criteria that Thomas had requested, he set up, in fact, was the first one was show an album you've been listening to recently. So the idea is to get to know your collection, as I just mentioned. The second criteria is show 2 albums you haven't heard in over a year. And the third and final one, it's a pretty simple thread, so jump on it. Show 3 albums you can't recall or remember. So essentially maybe 3 albums you picked up and haven't spun them, or you spun them and again, like I said, didn't move the meter that much, so they're not that memorable. And this thread, again, I should mention, is probably it's been around for about 3 weeks to a month. I'm not sure. But I just haven't had time to jump on it, and I really wanted to, because like I had mentioned, it's just a great way to support other vinyl community channels, and to revisit some of my vinyl in the collection. There's no criteria as far as that goes. It can be, from what I understand, other types of media, cassette, compact disc. George was showing his compact discs, and there was a few there I do recall. So let me get to it. One that I've been listening to recently, and I really dig it. I was introduced to this band probably in 08, 09. I don't even know the year that album came out, but the first one I bought was Crack the Sky, and it was by Mastodon. So I've been listening to this one a lot, because I only have Crack the Sky and this one. Mastodon are one of those bands for me that are hit and miss. I'm not huge into the growling vocal, so there are times when they do get into that mode of vocalizing the lyrics. But I really dig this one. The Hunter, my bestie and I were actually listening to this just last night, and I'd forgotten. I really like this album, so I've been listening to this one recently. So that's the first one. That's the first easy one to do. I would like to get maybe a little more Mastodon. I would like to have Crack the Sky on vinyl. I do like that. But yeah, I only have that one on compact disc, and I have another one of theirs on compact disc too. Leviathan, maybe? I can't remember. That's another one I could have pulled out. It's been a while. So anyway, I digress. Number 2, show 2 albums that you haven't heard in over a year. Okay, that's pretty easy, and sadly, it's all too easy. I've had this one up on my display, but I haven't listened to it, and it's well, technically it's the 4th album, but the 2nd North American one by Quiet Riot, Condition Critical. I got this. This is one of the first albums I got. Well, let me back up. Not the first albums I got, but when I got back into vinyl back in 2017 or so, I picked this up. It was still in the shrink wrap. It had never been opened. And so, and just how quickly things have changed. I paid $2 for this. $2, and that's Canadian. So maybe what, $5 American? I don't know what that exchange rate is, but really inexpensive. So that one I haven't listened to in a while. When I do tend to pull one out, it tends to be Metal Health, but this is a good one. I remember liking this one as well. I bought that around the time it came out originally on cassette, so I like it. And so the next one in that list there is a correlation actually, and I'm going to show a couple here with a correlation. I'm going to wet my whistle too. Cheers, everybody. Just having some tea on this Sunday afternoon. So the correlation here is, of course, the bass player, guitar player, Tony Cavazo. God, I can't even remember. Anyway, his brother played in this band. Carlos Cavallo from Quiet Riot, his brother Tony played in this band, Hurricane. So this one goes back to, I think, 1988, if I recall. And I don't spin this one very often. Got the liner here. Yeah, got the liner. But the thing about this, who am I kidding? I should have my glasses on the whole damn time here. Kelly Hansen. Robert Sarzo was on here as well. That's Rudy Sarzo's brother. He plays on here. Rudy Sarzo. In fact, a little tidbit. This is completely organic. But I remember Robert Sarzo was one of the guys that Ozzy wanted to come in to replace after Randy Rhoads had passed away. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it was contract or Sharon, or I don't know what the deal was, but I remember Robert Sarzo was one of the guys that was potential. But anyway, I digress. Kelly Hansen, he's a vocalist on here, and this is a completely coincidental, but that guy is presently the touring singer. I don't know if they're releasing anything for the 70s, 80s band Foreigner. But yeah, this one I've had for a while, and let me see if I initialed it. I used to initial the inside of my vinyl. Yeah, I used to initial them inside here. My initials and my date of birth I would put on inside the jacket of all my records. So yeah, that one, Hurricane. What one was this called? Over the Edge. Yeah, 1988. This one, I think it was. That's their 2nd album, Hurricane. It's that you kind of get the idea of what they may play, although that can be deceiving, and I'll get to that in a minute. But it's that Bon Jovi type, not metal but hard rock, maybe. That's subjective. Of course, that's subjective and debatable, of course. That's just my opinion. But yeah, so I hadn't listened to that in a long time. And of course, that's why I pulled this one out. Kelly Hansen is the touring vocalist for Foreigner presently, and he was on that. I watched the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame video. We were just watching that this weekend as well. We watched the atrocity of the Ozzy tribute or whatever. Aside from Maynard, but I don't think any of the people who were honoring Ozzy, his vocals, did it any justice, in my opinion. But they were also inducting Foreigner as a band, and yeah, Kelly Hansen was on stage with Sammy Hagar doing some of the Foreigner stuff. But anyway, so the third criteria: show 3 albums you can't remember or can't recall or remember. Okay, that's pretty easy. This one I found in a bargain bin at a mom and pop store, and I just thought it was kind of unique. It was just in this plain Jane sleeve, and essentially what it is Sound of New York from 1980, or I don't know if it's from 1980. It's one side is actually side A and B are both punk 1980s. I'm going to hold that up so you can see. Now, I don't know what's on here. I don't recall what's on here, but I just remember that grabbing my attention and I wanted to check it out. And as I just alluded to, the past year has been a bit of a blur. Actually, to be quite honest, the past 2 years with us moving from the city we used to reside to this city and all that entails with getting familiar with a new place and same employer, but it's almost like a new job because it's a new area, at least for what I do. It involves a lot of driving and getting to know the city. So really the past 2 years have been very busy and those things in life, there are certain things that are the most stressful, and new jobs and buying a home and things like that are supposedly some of the most stressful things. Didn't necessarily buy a new home, but it is a new home we're in, and the move and all that stuff. But I digress again. You don't need to know all that. There's a lot of reasons why I haven't listened to these, and that's just one of them. Here's another one. This one I think from 1986. I did hear these guys, but I have no recollection of what they sound like. They definitely look like that. If you know who Haywire is, or that very light rock, hair band rock, I don't know what you would call it, but these guys are called, maybe it's very luminescent rock, but they are certainly called Brighton rock. So I have no idea, honestly. I do recall hearing about them, but what style they play or anything, I suspect it is certainly not the the Motley Crue, the Iron Maiden, Priest, Metallica type stuff that I would normally be into, certainly upon this release in 1986, but I do recall hearing about them. So it was, again, very cheap, and so I grabbed it, and that's certainly one couldn't tell you what it sounds like and have yet to listen to it. So I will be doing that. And the third one, last but not least, this is another shout out to my buddy Aaron over at Aaron Musa Alamere. He had this on one of his Tipsy Tuesdays, I believe, or he was showing it while he listens to tunes and rocks out. Cheers, VC! Cheers, Aaron. This is a tribute to you, buddy. So yeah, he was showing this, and we kind of corresponded about it a little bit through the comments, and thought it might be something I would be interested in. So when I came across this, just completely organic, wasn't even looking for it, but there it was. So I grabbed it, and it's called Rock's Gang, Things You've Never Done Before. And this is from 1988 as well. The other thing I want to mention about that Hurricane album, I'm just remembering now, it's got an Alice Cooper cover here of I'm 18. Yes, it does. It's the second track on there. I'm 18. I think it was okay, if I recall. Also produced by Mike Klink and executive produced by Bob Ezrin. So anyway, I do dig that one, more so than I guess I thought I remembered digging it. But yeah, this one, I don't know. I think I've maybe heard them before, but I couldn't tell you just by memory. It's still in the shrink wrap and everything. So there's the back of it. I don't know how well you can see that. Rock's Gang. They definitely look like that late 80s sleaze metal type band that I never much got into, aside from, however, if you want to classify Guns N' Roses, Skid Row, and those type of bands as that. Skid Row I could see. Guns N' Roses I don't think fall into that. But hey, again, it's all very subjective to one's own opinion, and that's all this is. But yeah, that's it. That's the three I have not listened to yet. I couldn't really tell you what they sound like, just because, and I've had them for a while. I just haven't had a chance to give them a spin. But go over to Thomas's channel, as I alluded to, and these other dudes that I mentioned. I'll leave links, and jump on the thread. It's a lot of fun. Dig through your collection that maybe gets neglected once you start to, accumulate a certain number of records. And of course, I've got all my cassettes and my CDs, like most of us. So there are definitely many that I could have pulled out and would qualify for this. But that's it. That's my video for today. And I appreciate all of you who have stuck around and watched. Leave a comment if you'd like. Please be cordial. And go ahead and sub these other guys and support, to show your support for them as well. I do appreciate your support for my channel. And I'll leave it at that. I will be absent again for a little while following this. We're heading out on spring break with the grandkids next week, so it'll probably be a couple of weeks. So take care, everybody. I hope to see you again whenever I can. But until then, cheers all.